So don't shy away from haters. You gotta embrace your haters, because that's when you can sleep well. And because the next morning when you get the insights, finally it reaches 100,000 views.
Haters, come to me. The more you hate me, the more I love you.
Exactly.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I would like to bet you welcome on i3L podcast. Today, we are going to talk about the business of science, which includes the ethics, the science in the world that is dominated by influencers and trends. So today, we have an esteemed guest, Dr. Felix Henry, who would like to share his insight to help us know and understand about how the business of life science can be properly translated into the community. So, good morning, Pak Felix.
Good morning, buddy.
Yeah, good morning. So, we are very happy and honored to welcome you here, and we would like to ask you about some of the insight about the business and insight. So, okay, let us ask several questions, to Pak Felix. Pak Felix, nowadays I see you are talking about many health issues and you are debunking myths, and even you are challenging a well-known professors, doctors, or the high-key influencers. Maybe you can name one of the facts that you debunk, for example.
Oh, yeah. Jadi, maybe we should talk about a bit of my motivation there.
Yes, sure.
The thing is, like, if you look at the health data in Indonesia, we're chronically sick. We are, as a country,
exactly.
We're chronically sick. 1 in 3, depending on the data source, 1 in 3 is obese. The type 2 diabetes in children.
1 in 3.
Exactly.
That is not good, everyone. Yeah, 30%.
Exactly.
30% is a small number.
Yeah, and in some cases, if you look at the middle income earners, you can see it's almost close to 50 to 60%, depending on the source of data. There's one paper there I checked. It was done in Padang on government officials.
Okay,
it's about 50-60% obese government officials in Padang. So it's based on the if you look at all those data, and then we're looking at the rate of type 2 diabetes in children, and we're looking at the chronic kidney disease in young people, and then you can see all those data. It's sort of painting a picture that we're a chronically sick nation. So that's one of the reasons why I sort of more and more sort of like trying to be try to expose this data, and people gonna realize that we need to change in terms of lifestyle, food, and nutrition. Yeah.
Okay, 50 to 60% is a very big value, and what I'm intrigued, it actually happened in the middle income families,
yes,
which is supposedly more informed and they have more options to regulate or to plan their diet, right?
I mean, not really easy. If you look at middle income earners in Indonesia, right, because they have more money now.
Yes.
And people are getting more money, and they're going to spend it in more sort of like more food. And then if you go to a mall, like you can see a lot of choices. Right?
I see.
Yeah, and it's all pretty much a majority of them will be ultra processed foods. So in those cases, I can see why the chronic disease will be more prevalent in the middle income earners, for sure. Yeah.
Right. And then, I mean, the government have their program, right? Like a Pedoman Gizi Seimbang and anything. So do you think it actually contributes?
It helps, but the thing is, like, you cannot. It depends on the marketing juga, kan?
Yes.
And then you cannot withstand the power of all those companies, big food companies, having a huge amount of money to market. So
food companies, okay, I'm not in that word, okay.
So in that sense, I mean, like, it has to be us. They're gonna realize that all those foods are, it's not supposed to be consumed regularly.
Yes. Okay. Nowadays also, I noticed that Indonesians, listens a lot to the influencers.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, I'm not trying to blame anyone, but I noticed that the government program about, like pedoman gizi seimbang and everything does not really, convey it very well to the community. So, they're opening up social media, to TikTok, to Instagram, to try to get information about what are the best food. So which kind of information that you think need to be debunked, to counter this high case of diabetes?
I'm coming from a different point of view. For me, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Everybody has the right to voice what they think, what is right and what is wrong, and everybody has the right to spread whatever information that they want to spread. So in that sense, I'm quite like libertarian. I mean, people are entitled to their own opinions. But the thing is, like, it has to be up to us as consumers that can actually have a better understanding to find what information is correct, and you gotta try it. I mean, like, the thing is, like, for example, I'm advocating about the importance of animal proteins plus fiber, a little bit of fiber, and then you have to minimize your carbs and sugar. So I'm advocating on that kind of lifestyle.
I see.
But some other influencers, maybe some other kind of health practitioners will have a different opinion. They're gonna say, okay, you gotta count calories. You have to weigh your food. You gotta count your calories and stuff. I'm not advocating that, but the thing is that you get two different information, right?
Yes.
So how do you decide? For me, the easiest way would be you just gotta test it on yourself, and find out which one is for you. It's more suitable, and then you're gonna find out. So for me, it's always about we as consumers need to upgrade ourselves rather than banning other people voicing their opinions.
I see.
Like, that's my take. Yeah.
Right. I mean, okay, let us look at the animal protein, and this is interesting, everyone. A lot of people do not really agree about animal proteins because, right, they have concerns about saturated fat and cholesterol.
Yeah.
Right? This is, a lot of people are concerned about it. So what do you, Ahmed, do you agree with that statement, especially from the red meat?
Yeah, I totally disagree. Totally disagree. The reason why I disagree strongly, if you look at the data, I'm going to quote 3 sources of data. Number one is from Statista. If you look at what we Indonesians consume, we're consuming about 180 to 190 kgs of sugars and carbohydrates, 120 kgs of rice per capita per annum, 30 kilograms flour, and then with consuming 30 kilograms of sugar.
Oh, God, this.
Yeah, per capita per annum.
Ooh.
If you're looking at the animal protein consumption, chicken and eggs, poultry is about 8 kilograms per capita per annum, and then 2 kilograms of red meat per capita per annum on average.
That is very low.
So if you look at the data, so it's 18 times more we're consuming carbohydrates than protein, animal protein. And then yet, if you look at our life expectancy, we're looking at the stunting rate, we're looking at our IQ, we're looking at the quality of our manpower. We are ranked one of the lowest. So it's not and then the thing is, like, with simple kind of population-based data, you can tell it's just not right. It's not correct. Yeah. So for me, and then there's another paper coming out, not coming out, has already come out, written by one of Indonesian researchers in current development nutrition. Even in ASEAN, if you're looking at Southeast Asia, we're comparing in Southeast Asian countries. We are ranked 3rd in terms of the lowest. So we are ranked 3rd, the lowest in terms of animal consumption. We're only above, I think, Myanmar and Timor-Leste in terms of animal protein consumption. So the thing is, like, when people are looking at, it's just simple correlation, right? And then yet, okay, let's compare us to, for example, other advanced countries. If you look at Taiwan, if you look at Singapore, they're consuming close to around 60 to 80 kgs of animal protein.
It's like 5 times more?
Yeah, 6 to 8 times more.
Okay.
their life expectancy is way more above us. Sort of like yes, and then their quality of manpower is better, life expectancy is better, quality of life is better. So the thing is like I think we are myopically looking at animal protein as the culprit, but whereas
Exactly.
we are lacking in it.
You know what? Whenever I do medical checkups, I have been constantly be reminded, avoid red meat, avoid red meat, avoid red meat.
Yes.
Right? Because the doctor said it's saturated fat, etc. To tell you the truth, now I'm eating like half a kilogram of meat.
Yeah, which is good. Very good.
Half a kilogram of meat.
Yes.
Then, right, contrary to what people believe, maybe you can get fat, you can have a problem.
Yes.
My blood sugar level is always below 90.
Yeah, which is very good. Yeah. That's the thing. When people don't realize, jadi we gotta look at. People think that it's the cholesterol and the LDL's problem. No, but it's the metabolic parameters that you're looking at. Number one, whether you have abdominal obesity.
Yes, visceral fat.
Visceral fat. Number two is like either you have either you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, which is we're not, which is good. Number three is that your triglyceride level should be low, not high. Number four, your HDL should be high, and number five is hypertension. And then these five metabolic syndrome parameters are given by internists and cardiologists, UK and US cardiologists and internists. So those five metabolic parameters will predict all the chronic diseases, whether you're gonna be obese, whether you're gonna be diabetic, whether you're gonna have hypertension, stroke, cardiovascular disease, liver disease, chronic kidney disease, and all that kind of stuff. And those five metabolic syndrome parameters.
I see.
The LDL. And the thing is like, so we just question it. So why don't they put in the LDL and total cholesterol into the metabolic syndrome parameters? Right?
Oh, this one I have an interesting story, Pak Felix. You know what? I have a slightly high cholesterol and the doctor prescribed me with the statins, which I refuse.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good indicator. Because if I take statins, I will disrupt my hormones.
Exactly. And then you're gonna,
vitamin D also.
Yes. And coenzyme Q10 and all
coenzyme Q10, etc.
Yes.
I think, the medical doctor need to have their knowledge updated, right, to the newest data. And also, what I noticed, Pak Felix, pedoman gizi seimbang put 50 grams of sugar as an acceptable level, which I think is not acceptable.
Definitely not, yes.
Right, because sugar, right, WHO said 5% of the total calories, which is less than half.
Yeah.
And Indonesian people, correct me if I'm wrong, most of the Indonesian people are sweet tooth.
Yes.
So if they see the 50 grams of sugar, let's see how many spoons? 4 spoons?
I don't know. It's way more. It's way more. Definitely
so they think that it is safe.
Way more. Yeah.
So they think it's safe, but in reality, those kind of settings, right, cause like what you mentioned earlier, right, more than a third, and even half of them have diabetes. So that means something needs to be changed.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yes. I think that's one of my motivations why I just try to speak on through my channels. Yes.
Yeah, I think that is also needs to be updated also. Yeah. And then, right, another issue is, when the audiences, our people are trying to get an information from influencers. They are sea of influencers with a lot of followers, right? So they do not, they just choose the influencer that they feel they are comfortable with.
Yeah.
And
I think for me, for me, it's not so much a problem whether people follow certain types of influencers yet. For me, that's why a lot more people need to be their own influencers. Like, for example, a lot of very, very credible people, sometimes they're introverted, right? They're introverted. I'm a very introverted person, but I try to be, we have to train ourselves to be extroverted because we're living in a world where extroverts are being valued. So me as an introvert, I gotta have to train myself to be able to speak up. Yeah. So the thing is like, that's one of the reasons why I try to sort of like give more other points of view. So I try to use research papers. So I try to, for example, people now, I mean, like, until recently, people always say, kata dia seperti ini. People,
They always cite someone.
Yeah, someone. It's always like, because somebody else said this, I tried to do this. I mean, where's the data? Oh, okay. What are you based the things on? So that's why I try to offer a different point of view. Yeah. So whenever I share my content, I'll always have research papers
and back it up, right?
Yeah.
All right. But I thought also there are other challenges that I can see from the Indonesian populations. I think they may not be able to look for the credible journals and to understand.
That's fine. Like for me, it's always going to be the problem. I mean, that's one of the main problems. And if we're gonna, for example, I always tell my sort of followers, whenever I cite a paper, I always put in just Google verbatim what the title is, and then just put in the Google search, and you're gonna find it, and then read it for yourself. I might be wrong. Maybe the way that I interpret it might be wrong, but maybe you're gonna have a different opinion once you read it. So that's fine. Yeah, different opinion. I think the thing is, like, it is healthy to have a debate. It is healthy to have a different opinion. It is healthy to see a certain sort of topic from a different point of view. Because we always, I think COVID taught me a lot. COVID, definitely. Like for me, people try to shut other people's opinions because they disagree. For me, which is very, very bad. I mean, if you disagree, that's fine. Disagreement is normal, and then just state what your opinion is. I'm going to state my opinion, and then people are going to see, okay, which opinion is right, which one is the correct one.
Yes,
you got to try it out.
Yeah.
Find it for yourself. Do your own research. Read. Be critical. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it is the Indonesians. I mean, the people who look at the TikTok. It is their responsibility to pick up which information that is more correct, right? The influencer only, say about their opinion. But of course, there are influencers, that may not be right to our opinion. So it is your job to look, for the information. I mean, like for now, this is the era of AI, right? Actually, there are certain AI that can help you filter out research papers, like Site AI, or consensus AI, which have the capability to pull research papers, right? But now people, right, relies on ChatGPT. There is a problem, Pak Felix. If you use ChatGPT or ChatGPT based on the trained data done by informaticians, which may not know which data are valid, which data are not valid. So they just type on ChatGPT. Sometimes ChatGPT pull invalid data because they can look for blogs, for news, and etc. Right. So people, right? AI is not just typing, right? So when you are operating AI, you need to use certain technique to add more critical parameters to limit the result. Yeah. But I think this kind of knowledge, unfortunately, many of Indonesian people do not know how to use. Yeah, for me, it's going to be always the case. Yes. It's going to be always the case where, so that's why, like, we as Indonesians need to upgrade ourselves. Yes. That's it. That's the only way. Like, it'll be kind of pointless to argue that, oh yeah, certain information is not right, certain information is wrong. So the thing is, like, we as society needs to upgrade ourselves. Yes, you need to upgrade ourselves. Yep. Right. Now, another responsibility that we have as influencers, also something like we as entrepreneurs, right, who are offering quality products, healthcare, and etc., to help support, educate the community, right? So in your point of view, right, what constitutes a good ethics, in terms of when you want to promote the product. Yeah, so I think the background will be for the past year, right? There's always this sort of like drama in the skincare industry. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that is a big one.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like drama in the skincare industry where people claiming this, people claiming that, and then there'll be forbidden ingredients in the
Yeah,
product.
like
and stuff.
hydroquinone.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, that's one of the reasons why we as consumers need to upgrade ourselves. I mean, this kind of problem will always exist. Doesn't really matter when we live. These problems will always exist. It's not only in the healthcare industry, right? It's not only in the healthcare, skincare products and stuff. If you look at the financial products, it's always scams.
Yeah, always scams.
Exactly.
Even some of them are like OJK's certified, BAPET certified.
That's the thing, right? Yeah. The thing is like, use those experiences to upgrade ourselves. There'll always be. Don't worry about it, people. So we're gonna have a skincare drama, and there'll always be other things coming up. So in terms of ethical marketing and stuff, and again, we cannot police people.
Yeah,
it's always my case, right? We as consumers, we are not like legal entities. We are not part of the governments and stuff. So we cannot regulate what other people want to say. We cannot regulate what other people are going to sell.
Yeah.
So the main thing is that we as consumers need to be critical. Whenever people claim that it's gonna change your face in whatever 2 days, and that's bull crap.
Yeah.
Right? There'll be none of that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's all up to us. And the thing is, like me, I also have skincare products. I also produce my propolis products. I always try to collaborate with universities, with i3L, for example, with other universities to produce credible research that's been published in top quality journals. So I try to use that as my marketing tool. Yeah.
Actually, that is a very rare move, right? For the healthcare cosmetic companies, usually, right, they will put their allocated funds more to the marketing, or they will use strong, influential people, to increase the exposure, or maybe they pay a hefty amount of advertising fee, just to get as many exposure as possible, right? As far as I know, like not many companies are actually putting into research and spending extra time to educate, which I think is important.
It's very important because I tried to. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. This is because my previous background in New Zealand, I was a scientist and also working in IP law, working with a lot of companies in New Zealand. I can see the value in putting a lot of work into research and development because our products. I try to position our products as premium products.
Right.
So our customer base would be sort of like higher end market, where I see that those customers really value scientific data, really value credible scientific data, and then so that's one of the reasons why I also sort of like try to manage my time and I become my own influencer for my own product, so I can actually market whatever scientific data that I have into my channel. So it feeds into it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because initially I tried spending money, marketing money I'm paying influencers, but it doesn't move. It doesn't sell. There's no increase in sales and stuff. So I think people are overestimating the value of marketing through influencers. This is my personal experience.
Oh, this is interesting finding, everyone.
Yeah, people are overvaluing the impact. But if you look at, for me, as a sort of like a small brand, I can see I spend quite a bit into paying influencers, but it didn't increase any. It didn't
This is important information. Yeah.
Oh, when I switch my effort and time into research and development and be my own influencer, that's where the sales went up. So that's why I was like, okay, the sales went up significantly. I'm just gonna keep replicating, and I'm gonna keep consistently.
There is the best way to work, and then you keep replicating that.
Exactly.
To build up the credibility of your own product.
Yes.
I think this is a very important information, everyone. So, rather than looking at people or spending a lot of money, to give a lot of exposures, you may want to look at the research aspect, to put more evidences about the efficacy, about the quality of your products, which is where life science have a very important role in it, right? As what Felix has mentioned. Right?
Definitely. Because I can, putting effort into research and development, increase my sales by 10 to 15 times.
10 to 15 times, 1,000 to 1,500%.
10 to 15 times. I can see it. I mean, it's a real growth, and then you can see people asking, "Oh yeah, hey, can you share me the papers?" And then by publishing papers, by promoting the papers into my social media channel, I also grow potential collaborations, right? So we're gonna collaborate with Singapore. We have collaboration going on with Bulgaria and New Zealand, and like i3L, and I mean, through that channel, it's actually growing the sort of like the research area as well, plus the business side, which is a win-win for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a win-win for everybody. It's a win for us as a company. It's a win for the academics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's a win for the customers, because you know you're getting quality products. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. Yes.
And also, I think doing research in universities also help to optimize and improve your product. Let's say that your product may be lacking in certain aspects, right? I mean, you can find it, and look at how to optimize the product.
For sure,
well, right?
For sure, yes, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, I mean, if you find your products are, let's say, fall behind compared to your competitors, or maybe from the normally used products, drugs, etc. You may find a way to optimize your product, which we call it innovation.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very lacking in Indonesia, Felix.
It's very lacking, because I think they don't see the value. But whereas me, I've seen it with my own eyes. How, for example, a small country like New Zealand, whenever they ship their products, it's always regarded as premium quality products. One of them is through research and development, right? Because New Zealand is like in the sort of like down south, like it's very far away from very far away from everybody.
Yeah.
It's very far away from the market. But how come they're punching above their weight? But whereas us, we're in the middle of Asia, we're just becoming currently we're becoming markets. We're becoming markets for everybody.
The target consumers, not producers.
Yeah, we're not producers. We're not innovating. We're just becoming targets, right? Yeah, I think that's where we're lacking. But whereas we are very positioned strategically. We're in the middle of Asia, close to China, close to all the premium markets. I mean, why don't we use it? Yeah.
But what actually happens the other way around? We are the target consumers. They see us, we are, I'm just telling the blunt truth. Yeah. They see us and, we are not very well informed. We have, we are in the middle economy, and we are in the active consumer range where they can target the high sales.
Yes.
But, the ironic thing is Indonesia itself have the highest biodiversity. We have a lot of productive people, and yet the research is very lacking.
Yes.
Right? So it is very ironic also. I find this.
Very.
Yeah. So, as what we can see also, is there are very low amount of, like a small or medium-sized company approach universities, to optimize, to do the research and efficacy about.
I think one of the reasons why is that they just don't have the channel. They don't have the way to market whatever that the research and development activities would produce. Whereas I do have the channels. So I think that's the difference. So we gotta have to be able to. You're putting a certain amount of money cost in research and development. You got to be able to use whatever the results to promote it. I think that's very important. I've worked with a lot of academics. It's always the thing that's that is the component that's lacking. Our academia produces quite a bit of good research, high quality research and stuff. But the thing is, it doesn't get
translated.
Yeah, translated into a community. That's the thing. So that's why a lot of for me, the only way is that a lot of academics should be influencers. You should spend some time because there's no point. Like things like
Oh, it's getting interesting now.
there's a certain ego in scientists, right? Because you consider yourself, oh, I'm a PhD level scientist. I'm not talking to common people. This is always the case. But the thing is that you don't understand. Your research is being funded by taxpayers.
Yes, I see.
And then you get your research funding from taxpayers. You're producing your research in high quality journals. It's actually not about whether you want it or not. It's your obligation to be able to take that information, that paper, and then you're gonna have to give it back to the community. It's your obligation. It's actually your obligation to actually tell the people what you do, what is the impact, and what you want to tell through the research papers.
Oh, I
We
see.
gotta. I think it's just the ego thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and also Prof. Ali is writing an articles, right? It's about the discourse of information where people listens more to influencers
Yeah.
rather than academics, right? Because I
Yeah.
think one factor, like what you say, is influencer communicates better. They resonate better to
Exactly.
the community rather than the PhD. Maybe you're talking about, the language are too high, there are too many jargons.
Too
the
many
community finds
jargons,
too difficult to
exactly,
understand.
and then you're being egotistical. You're like saying, oh yeah, I don't want to, like, who are you? Like you're not gonna understand what I'm doing. We have to get rid of it. You got to be able to you got to be able to break down your research into the simplest language, and then you got to tell them. You got to tell the tech because it's your obligation. You're being funded by taxpayers' money. It's you're obliged to tell them what you produce, right?
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. But nowadays, I mean, like, yeah, I also inspired by Prof. Arlie, articles. I'm also, becoming an influencer, but of course, everything must start from,
Yeah. Yes,
but,
yes.
start from, very few postings, learn
Yes,
from
yes.
each other and etc. But I try my best to
yes.
communicate to people and to make it as interesting as possible because
Exactly.
yeah, we cannot deny if you are too robotic, you are too,
Yeah.
boring, people will just skip. So you need to find a way
And
to talk
for
to
me,
the people.
it's the real litmus test when you post your research and stuff into social media. It's the real, because you're gonna get haters, you're gonna get a lot of hate comments and stuff. That's the real litmus test whether you can withstand that, and you can still communicate your research in a consistent way. Because social media doesn't care about your feelings. They're gonna say it, right? And then,
Yes.
and then a lot of academics would think that's the reasons why I don't want to post and stuff. But things like that's life.
I think the litmus test that they are thinking is, okay, what happened if I got a lot of hatred? I will lose my
Exactly.
credibility. My student will not respect me. And, I will lose control on my campus. But I think, we need to shift this kind of views from the academicians.
That's life.
We need to remember academicians should be the owner of knowledge. Hey, you cannot, haters can be anywhere. Sometimes what happened, Pak Felix? Haters can be some of your closest friends or maybe your competitor guys at the second account.
Yeah,
They try to demoralize you.
Exactly.
Because I got hit before, when I spoke about health, right?
Yeah.
Because I was debunking this person's claim that soy can cause feminization.
Oh, right,
so I'm debunking him. I said that the amount that you eat will never be sufficient. You only base that isoflavone content from a Japanese who eat much in excess. So I told, during the talk, you shouldn't be afraid of soys, right? The amount that you eat will not or will never be sufficient to cause feminization. Right? The isoflavone will not be enough.
I see.
So yeah, some influencer got unhappy.
Yeah, that's fine. I think
Then I got attacked. Yeah, sometimes I big too personal. I was too personal last time, so I got affected.
exactly. You shouldn't take things personally in social media. I think one of the keys is that self-deprecation. You shouldn't take things personally. Like use your haters as a sort of commodity to push your
Haters as commodity.
exactly, because
This is interesting.
whenever I get hate comments, I can sleep well. Whenever I post and I get hate comments,
Listen, everyone. Hate equals to better sleep.
Exactly.
Get hate as much as you can.
when I go a lot of hate, I can sleep well. You know why? Because the post is gonna go viral. Because social media, I think one of the negative
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 algorithm.
side of the thing is that whatever that you get, because discussions is always pros and cons.
That's
If
right.
you look at the post that has a lot more discussion, a lot of comments, a lot more shares, it will be a post where there will be a lot more pros and a lot more haters. And it is always, whenever they type, whatever, it's always going to be shared faster and wider. So don't shy away from haters. You gotta embrace your haters, because that's when you can sleep well. And because the next morning when you get the insights, finally it reaches 100,000 views.
Haters, come to me. The more you hate me, the more I love you.
Exactly. So that's how I that's how I sort of like look at it in sort of like
Now I learn
data
valuable
point of
things
view.
now.
Yes.
Okay, I think like this is kind of psychology that that we can delve into to the social media world. I think the academicians should know about these dynamics, because sometimes
Yeah.
they have their own because usually in Indonesia academic is very highly in position.
Exactly.
They are in the pinnacle of morale, intelligent, etc. So whenever they get some hurtful comments, they're feeling disrespected, they just eventually give up and disappear.
That's
Now we have the new views, everyone, especially for the academicians.
Yes.
Right.
You should embrace it, because that's the way to go.
Or maybe look as much hate as possible.
But the thing is, I think we gotta be. I have to clear myself. I have to clarify. We have to be able to. We have to embrace controversial topics, but there's a thin line between controversies and illegal, because we have, so that's where the thin line is, right?
Yes.
So I don't shy. I embrace controversial topics on my post, but I make sure that I'm still within the line that's not illegal, right?
That's right.
ITE dan segala macam. So you have to be able to navigate.
Yes, I think like it will get you into like a law, and prosecutions.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, because my topic is in food nutrition, scientific science and stuff. So for me, it's in terms of sort of illegal content stuff. It's a lot more sort of like, it's a lot more in the safe side. But when you're venturing into sort of like more into controversial, where you might be able to attack people personally and stuff, and then better stay away from that. And you have to make sure that whatever you post, whatever that you share and stuff, just ask, okay, is this within the line of controversies, not illegal, or you also, I mean, it's already 50-50. When it's already 50-50, then better not.
Okay, I see. So there will be a thin line between controversies. Things can be debated. Illegal means you are breaking the laws. You can potentially create disadvantage to the community.
Yes.
One thing that intrigued me, about this controversy is cholesterol.
The
cholesterol paradox.
Yes.
Right? I mean, for example, eggs. Right? We have been told so many times to avoid eggs because it has cholesterol.
Yes.
Then somebody in Harvard tried to refute the claim by eating 240 eggs.
Yeah, it's Nick Norwich. So their group recently published this interesting paper. They're looking at the ApoB and LDL.
That is
They tracked 100 people in this phenotype called lean mass hyperresponder, whereas they don't have metabolic syndrome, but the LDL cholesterol and ApoB cholesterol, ApoB high level high, really really high, in the tune of like 300 something, and they fold them up for a year, and they're looking at specific plaque formation, and they don't see any. They don't see any correlation between LDL cholesterol and ApoB in
I see.
Development.
And actually now, I mean, like in the newest finding, the LDL is also divided into two. They are the buoyant one,
Yes,
and they are the small dense one.
Yes.
So the small dense one is actually the one that causes plaque formation because they like to precipitate, but the buoyant one will not.
Yes.
I think this has not been this kind of knowledge has not been implemented to our lab. They just measure the total LDL and try to scale you up and feed us with statins.
Yes.
Yeah, I personally do not like statins because it disrupts my hormones. I refuse statins. Yeah, the medical doctor prescribes statins. I do not want to take it.
Yes.
Yeah, probably, if you're a medical doctor, you may disagree with me, but statins, can sometimes it disrupt your hormone. Your testosterone is important to keep your lean mass high and your body fat low. If my testosterone is disrupted, I think it will affect, these balances, and even it increases the risk for me to get other diseases. That's why I don't really like statins.
No, but when people see, people don't understand cholesterol. It's a building block for our hormones.
Exactly.
So whenever that you kill the cholesterol, I mean your hormone will be disrupted.
Yes. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, vitamin D.
It's all from cholesterol.
Yeah, it's all from cholesterol. Our bile also, I think, from cholesterol. Our bile,
bile production.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
It's from cholesterol also, right? But there are a lot. I'm not sure it is from the classical medical finding, that antagonize cholesterol.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the right way is to see the cholesterol in the more complete manner, right? Because cholesterol can be divided into many categories. Yeah. VLDL, LDL, HDL, So there are a lot of categories of cholesterol.
And people don't understand, like, cholesterol itself is actually, when people say LDL cholesterol, it's actually a lipoprotein where the cholesterol is located at.
Yes.
It's actually the cholesterol itself.
Yes.
When we look at HDL cholesterol, it's actually HDL, which is a lipoprotein where the cholesterol is located in. So when people say, "Oh yeah, cholesterol," I mean, what are you talking about?
Yes, they just I mean, like how
they are cholesterol. There's bound cholesterol.
Yes,
there are a lot of
there are a lot of types of cholesterol.
Where it is located at.
Yes, I think how the community is educated is HDL equal to good, LDL equals to bad.
Yeah.
But LDL is always higher than HDL. LDL's job is to transport all lipid-soluble materials to your cells.
Yes, exactly.
Right? But they put the label wrongly as bad cholesterol.
Yes.
Yeah, which is, I find it misleading.
Yes.
Right? The healthy physiological state always have LDL higher than HDL.
Than HDL, sure.
Always.
Yep.
Right? So I think this kind of thing, need to be conveyed to the community, to give a better feeling. Right? Which is, I am, especially when I have Prof. Ali's articles, okay, I'll try to build up my, try to be influencer, although, I'm a little, sometimes when I talk, okay, it's a little bit too deep, sometimes the people do not understand, and okay.
Yeah.
So, I need to learn how to talk more effectively, to build up the profiles of the influencer, right? Especially when you mention that, okay, the more hate, the better.
Yeah, for me, it's better.
Yeah, when I see myself, okay, no hater, but no lover. All right.
There was pros and cons, right?
Yes.
Pros and cons.
Okay.
I mean, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think someday, when you keep bringing up consistency, you will get slowly up. Okay, let us talk about your product, your propolis. Yeah. Right. Maybe you can describe, what type of benefit, maybe propolis. I mean, a lot of people heard about propolis, but what kind of health benefit that propolis in general can offer?
So before I go into health benefit, maybe we should talk about what propolis is. So propolis is a resin, plant resin that is collected by the bees to cover air holes and crevices in the beehive.
So
it's different.
It's not resin.
Yeah, it's from plant resin. So they collect it and then they mix it with their saliva and the kind of salivary liquid and stuff, and then they put it in
So it's basically a resin from the trees.
From trees, exactly.
Okay.
so the health benefit of propolis, for me, the most obvious would be anti-inflammatory, anti-radang. So for me, the anti-inflammatory of efficacy of propolis, whenever they look at the data and stuff, even from our own data, I mean, it's so good. Yeah, so that's the main thing. Antioxidant, we have a bit of antimicrobial properties. I think those three things are the most obvious.
I see. Okay. So actually it's a plant resin, yeah?
Yes.
I mean, like, thinking about that, can we collect that directly without the help of the bees? Like how do the bees play
I
part?
think there's a slight change. We did that. We're looking at the original resin source,
Okay.
plus the whatever the bees. There's a slight change. I think there's a bit of biochemical activities
I see. So there are enzymatic reactions.
Yeah, there's enzymatic reaction, and then maybe they add it with something else as well. The bees will add other type of materials into the propolis. So you can tell the resin source, but whenever that you look at the resin and the propolis, there's several chemical markers that says, okay, this is from this resin, but you can see the difference, the chemical profile of the propolis and the resin.
I see. Do you
There's some process in what the bees is doing is affecting the chemical properties of the propolis.
I see. Yeah. So do you need a certain type of bees, or any bees can collect the resin?
Would be able to produce propolis. For us, we use Indonesian stingless bees, especially the Genio Trigona thoracica.
Yeah, the stingless. I mean, what is the advantage to use this stingless?
It's a native bees.
Oh,
so it's easier for us to. It's not as aggressive, but it's also because it's native, and it's all well adapted in our environment, and they're everywhere. So it's easier to source.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, you are doing it in Brastagi, right?
But we also source it from, for example, we have several beekeepers that we are partnering with. So we collect it from Sibolga, we've got Langkat, we've got from Aceh, we've got.
Okay. So basically from northern Sumatra.
Northern Sumatra area, we've got several beekeeper partners that we're partnering with.
Okay. So any advantage to use that, compared to other?
We looked at the chemical properties and stuff.
Research, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the important.
That's why you need research, so you know about this.
So we have several mixtures that we do based on our research, and then we have certain composition of certain amount of from this, certain amount from that, certain amount from that, and then we look at it. Yes.
Okay. So any superior properties or characteristics?
Oh, definitely.
That you observe?
For me, the most obvious is the anti-inflammatory.
Oh, so the compound maybe is higher.
Yes.
Okay.
Several compounds that we identified for sure that gives polycycloartenol. I think that's the main compound, the anti-inflammatory compound. Yes.
I see. And then also the other aspect is, other than the bees, the tree resin itself, can it be any kind of trees or only certain type of trees?
I think the funny thing is that I think the bees are very well adapted because it's the local bees, right? So it's evolutionarily adapted.
So that means they are familiar, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're very well adapted to certain type of resin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like in terms of products, of course, people want to compare. Okay, what is the advantage of the propolis that you produce compared to competitors? How do you justify?
Okay.
Yes, people ask.
Yeah, for me it's easy. I don't really compare my product with other products. It's rare for me to actually say, oh yeah, my product is better than competitors because of all this. I just say, okay, I focus. This is our data. I don't know if you wanna find the competitors' data, go ahead. But this is our data. This is the research that we're doing. Rather than be antagonistic towards other people's products, I'm just gonna say this is our data. Judge it for yourself. I'm not gonna go into a debate where I'm gonna put our other competitors' products down.
Because the reason why is sometimes the consumer, upon setting out the decision to buy a product, okay, they will compare with different propolis.
I would definitely avoid those type of customers, and I'm gonna say maybe those are not customers that I want to buy my products, because you're not gonna be able to satisfy those people. They're always gonna find. They're always gonna find negative things, they're gonna say, "Oh, how come other people products like this and then your product?" I said, "Okay, that's fine. If you feel that our product's bad, go hit this other competitors' products." So
Yeah, this is another point of view that is not being done by other,
yeah, like for me,
businesses.
it's kind of pointless if you're gonna spend your time convincing those type of customers. It's rather than you're putting your time and effort into convincing whatever market is still available.
Now we learn something that is very different. So actually, research by itself already offer a value right,
Exactly,
to the
yes.
product. So everyone, right, we need to remember, right, research is a very fundamental, very important things, right? It's one of the, can I say, the best selling point,
me,
to
yes.
market the product.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe, there are new way we are looking things, maybe, some other people who believe spending in marketing, influencers, gimmicks, and etc. Maybe everyone, I think, look at the research, to see, how you can, increase the exposure, how to market your product, how to make the consumer believe and repeat the product. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Pak Felix, to share your important insight. Right. So everyone remember, right? Whenever you want to deal with the business in life science, research is one very important component. So whenever you want to create product, make sure everything is backed by research. Yeah. Thank you very much, Pak Felix. Yeah. So do not forget to keep following the iPOS i3L podcast. Of course, we will be talking about other aspects of life science. Yeah, see you around.
Thank you.